So a new bill will automatically draft women to combat. I actually talked about this a couple of times, but I was checking out the Snyder report. I'm going to link him in the description so you can go and check his channel out. And he's talking about it as well. And there's some interesting updates regarding this bill. Originally, they only wanted to draft men who were between the ages of 18 and 26 automatically to the military. And that bill actually passed in the House. In the Senate, however, and the House is a Republican controlled Senate. This is very interesting. The Republican controlled Senate passed this bill, and now in the Senate, the Republican controlled House passed this bill, and now in the Democratic controlled Senate, they want to pass a bill that will automatically force women to register for the draft, to sign up for the draft. This is a very interesting situation right here. And what makes the matter even more serious is that they have a military board made up of senators who actually recommended doing this. They voted on it 22-3. And this is a combination of both Democrats and Republicans. So there was major bipartisan support for this. And then there was a handful, like two or three Republican senators who did not like the idea of women being drafted. But that does not matter. So the Democrats are actively pushing to have women sign up for the draft. And now these two bills, the one that would automatically have men who are 18 to 26 automatically register for the draft, and the bill that would require women to sign up for the draft, those bills are set to be combined into one bill. And now both men and women 18 through 26 would automatically both be registered for the draft. We're going to jump into the Snyder Report video, and he's going to shed more details and expand a bit more on what's going on here. But this is absolutely massive. It's the first time this has happened. So let's go ahead and just jump right in.
Women will be required by law to enroll for the selective service. This is something that has many people extremely upset. Many lawmakers are actually furious. You will hear from a couple of them today, and I'll explain what's going on, because right now, members of Congress want to include women in the draft. Before, I told you that men ages 18 to 26 would be automatically registered for the draft, because right now we have 1/10 of the people that we did back 50 years ago currently selected as a reservist. So I'm going to break down what's going on, but again, this is some troubling information, because right now, this is something we have never seen. But I told you before that just wait. Even though this bill only included men, women would be selected soon because of one thing. Women want to be treated fairly. But now some people are saying that no, this is not right. We cannot pass this bill. We are now hearing that Congress is weighing the idea of adding women to the U.S. military draft. Why would they do this? Well, there's multiple reasons why, and you'll hear about that in just a moment. But because of this, we are now seeing a firestorm erupt. Adding women to the military is something they say we should not require. This is not a mandate. This should be optional. But I want to play you this, and then we're going to discuss it. Just look at this right here.
Which sets out military and national security priorities, would require women to register for selective service. Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley is not a fan, writing on X, quote, "I'm not voting for any defense bill that forces my daughter to register for the draft. Not now, not ever."
Now, that's Josh Hawley. But here's the thing you need to keep in mind. There are other lawmakers that say, you know what? We need to treat women fairly. Women need the same rights as men. And, yeah, should they be paid the same? Yes. Doing the same job, paid the same, I get it, right? But this is one where some say we have to include women. Here's where things are potentially going to be a little bit different. There's current proposal or an idea that all women are required to register for the draft. Okay? It would be a felony if they don't. That's one idea. The other idea is to include men with women. Okay, all people would be required to automatically be enrolled in selective service. Two different ones. Automatic registration versus you have to register. It's mandatory. Okay, those are two different sides. And this is where Congress is currently at, is Which one do we select? Now, again, also keep in mind this bill that they're discussing, there's not a chance this bill is going to pass in the Senate. It already passed the House of Representatives, but it's not going to pass in the Senate because there's poison pills attached to that bill that many lawmakers say we're not going to pass it. But what I'm discussing today is how women will be included into the next bill because they say they want to be fair. But look, let's keep listening to this, okay? And you'll see what they're talking about.
And he's not alone. Texas Republican Congressman Chip Roy also reacting on X, quote, "You can go straight to hell over my dead body." The argument for women being a part of the draft comes from experts such as the National Commission on Military, National, and Public Service. It concludes, quote, "This is a necessary and fair step, making it possible to draw on the talent of a unified nation in a time of national emergency."
So there we go. Those are the experts. This quote was from March of 2020. We have had so much progress over the past 4 years. So do I think this is coming? Yes. Do I think this is the best move? Well, we're going to find out. But based off of what the reports are telling us is that before we had like 760,000 people that we could choose from when we went into war. Now, how about 76,000? That's where things are different. So if we went and had a world war, at this time, we do not have enough personnel to even man the equipment, get on the battle lines, and protect our country. Don't have it. That's where people are worried. That's why experts say we need more people to either get recruited and sign up, or it's a mandatory draft. But again, I talked about this before. How can we increase recruitment? That's the question a lot of people have is, what do we do? Do we increase the benefits? Do we ensure that there's something more for their family? All right, what do we do? Because some people say that no, they are not going to register for the draft, no matter what. Other people said, and I talked to a few younger people just the other day, and I asked them, would you ever sign up for the military? And they said, absolutely not.
Now, something very important to consider regarding all of this discussion is the fact that most Gen Zers, 77% of Gen Zers, are not eligible to serve in the U.S. military. This is a finding that was conducted by the U.S. military roughly 1 to 2 years ago. And they found that 77% of high school seniors, so more than 3 out of every 4 high school seniors, were not eligible to register or serve in the military because of various factors, specifically substance abuse, obesity, or mental health. So that eliminates 3 out of 4 Gen Zers right off the bat. To make matters worse, every year, 100,000 Gen Zers are opting out of registering for the draft as well. This is insane. 100,000 Gen Zers that turn 18 every year are avoiding registration. They're not signing up. They'd rather lose access to federal student aid or their driver's license. But the thing is, there's something interesting about this. If you have a driver's license in the first place, so if you get a driver's license before you're 25 years old, right, then chances are they won't take it away from you. It's only if you try to get a license, to my understanding, after you turn 25 and you have not signed up for the draft, well, then you can lose your license. Also, when it comes to federal student loans, you just have to sign up for the draft between the ages of 18 and 25 to actually be able to use student loans. So for a lot of people, they'll have already graduated from college and collected their student loans by the time they would no longer be eligible for them. Do you see where I'm going with this? So most Gen Zers they're basically living their best lives. They're avoiding all of the responsibility. They're not signing up for the draft. And like I said, even if, something happened, WW3 broke off, and, you had these guys with bald heads and camouflage, military camouflage, banging on the doors of Gen Zers or their parents, saying that they need to speak to their kids, it wouldn't make any difference because Gen Z they're basically going to be in their beds, sleeping and farting. Like that's the motto for Gen Z. Like that's their thing, sleeping and farting. All right. And farting loud, very, very loud. They're not going to get out of bed. They're not going to answer the door. Okay, they were up all night playing Call of Duty, smoking weed, sniffing Fenty, and getting drunk. So they're not getting up until probably at least 6 p.m. All right, they're out cold. They're out cold, so they're not going anywhere. All right. A lot of them can't even tell you, they can't even identify, what certain things are. If you get what I'm hinting at, they're not, these people, these people aren't going anywhere. They're coming for millennials, they're coming for Gen X. Although I've already heard from some of the Gen Xers that they better not mess with the forgotten generation, because if they mess with the forgotten ones are going to wake up and they're not going to like it. They also better be careful whose doors they knock on. So I get it. There's some of y'all who are very pissed off, and you're making it clear that you're not going to take it laying down. But realistically, if something did pop off, it would be millennials and Gen Xers that they would have to go for, because Gen Z can't do anything. I played a video from Cardi B, and I don't like Cardi B. She's for her R. Kelly ways, but she made some very good points regarding Gen Z actually going out there and fighting. It's not going to happen. It's 100% not going to happen. She said, these kids on TikTok, like, you really think that these kids on TikTok are going to go out there and fight?
Just read an article saying that the House just passed a bill that they're going to automatically register men from 18 to 26 for war. Okay? And all I want to say is to America, good luck with that. These new little niggas are TikTokers, baby. These motherfuckers ain't gonna fight no war. We gonna die. You gonna die. You might as well just keep motherfucking investing money in your guns. Because these new kids, you want to send these new kids to fight these wars? The TikTok fucking hip shakers? Out of your mind. This is a new America, baby. This ain't the 19 motherfucker. Nah, like, seriously, you're gonna draft these kids that be TikToking all day to fight them, what? Most likely, what? Them Russians? Them motherfuckers that be fighting bears and shit? And motherfucking climbing mountains to go to school and whatever? I got some news for you, motherfuckers.
Guys, I'm telling you, it's not a game. It's really not a game. This is a whole new world that we live in, and you have to wake up and realize it. You have to wake up and realize this is a whole new world we live in. Okay? We're facing some really seriously hard times. Hard times are coming. And women have enjoyed a lot of privilege over the years. They wanted equality. They pushed to this point, and now they're looking for special privileges, and men have special punishments. We already know that the fact that the male-only draft is unconstitutional. It was found unconstitutional by a federal judge, and the Supreme Court has been waiting for the Biden administration to basically act upon, either getting rid of the draft or making women register for the draft. So they've been kicking the can. If they keep on kicking the can and they say, okay, well, they don't address it within a reasonable period of time. It's been like 4 years now or more. Well, then guess what? Well, ultimately end up happening is that the Supreme Court's going to say, okay, we've given them a reasonable amount of time to review this. We've gone through at least 1 or 2 different presidential administrations. This issue has not been addressed. So now we're going to address it, and we're going to deem that the current draft, male-only draft, is indeed unconstitutional if women don't have to register. And that's something that the Senate does not want. That's something that the House does not want. It's something that Congress does not want. They do not want the draft invalidated, because that opens up another set of worms, and that would create a lot of havoc for them trying to reinstitute it. So that's a very, very serious situation right there. So this new law will automatically draft women to combat, because women can now serve in all active roles in the military. So they would serve in combat roles. There's a lot of people who say, well, they will only be in support roles. That doesn't make any sense. It makes literally no sense. And men would basically throw a storm. Like, oh, so they're supposed to be on the field all the time, and women are going to be hoarding all the support jobs. Why would you do that? Oh, because they're women? Doesn't work like that. That's gender discrimination. All right. If you have 99% of men in combat, all right, and one and all and all the and then all of the women in support roles, that's gender discrimination, 100%. Okay, and arguing that women cannot see combat, women cannot serve in combat is total BS because women now serve in all avenues of the military. And if when it comes to draft dodgers, if women start running off and trying to get pregnant to avoid serving in the military, there could be serious repercussions for them as well. All right, so they could end up facing jail time if they try to avoid military service by getting pregnant, which is something that a lot of them are saying. And they think that it's easy to just flee the country. It's not. I'm an old man. I'm 41 years old. Like I said, I've got a bad back. I know they don't care, but that's just how it is. So they're not going to get me. All right. If they want me, they're going to have to carry me. You know, there's a quote from God of War. You know, God of War, and I love this quote. It said, you know, Kratos says, "Death can have me once it's earned me." I feel the exact same way, you know, because going to war, that's death. That's death right there. So, you know, they can have me once they've earned me. They're gonna if they want me, they're gonna have to carry me. They're gonna have to carry me. Guys, don't forget that if you're enjoying the content on the channel and you want even more of this content, consider checking out the Men Walking Away channel where I release daily videos. There's a link to a description of the video. Go check it out. Subscribe to the channel. Support the content. What do you guys think? New law will automatically draft women to combat. Are you surprised by this? Are you shocked? I told you it's looking like it may very well happen this time. That they're going to put the two bills into one, and it's just going to be an automatic draft for everyone, for all Gen Zers, you know, both male and female Gen Zers, because right now, as you know, military reserve levels are just a tenth of what they were 50 years ago. 1/10. That is so tiny. We do not have enough people to support the military. We do, and if you look at how many people can actually qualify to serve, it's so low. So you're going to need women to fill those ranks up. Okay, you're gonna need women to fill those ranks up. And like I said, especially with this generation, with Gen Z, all they do is sleep and fart. It's not gonna be pretty. Let me know your thoughts. We'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWM and walking away. And cheers.